G'day everyone, welcome to Free Time Friday, coming to you live at 5 sometimes, but absolutely tonight. Tonight we're going to cover off a lot of different things. It's been a hell of a week for all of us. I can't believe it's Friday already, and it's been one of the longer ones, certainly for business owners across the country. So we're going to have a little bit of a chat about that, a little bit of a chat about some business and marketing stuff, and of course, as always, we will be opening a unboxed pack of basketball cards today. 94.95 Upper Deck. Pretty excited to get into this one. It's been sitting around for a couple of weeks. So let's flick to the intro and get into it. Who is this? Michael Jordan! Snap! Ring the bell! Ring the bell! Okay, so thanks for watching and joining me today. I am your host, Stuart, for this edition of Free Time Friday, live at 5 sometimes, but certainly tonight. So, wow, what a week. We entered the week heading into stage 4 lockdown in Victoria, which saw the closure of a lot of small businesses, a lot more small businesses as well, including some confusion over hairdressers who were open, but unfortunately since then, I think a lot of them have closed as well. So it has been a quiet week, quiet on the streets, quiet for people getting to and from work, and certainly quiet across the retail sector as well. So I've seen a lot of feedback over the week, people asking for suggestions and comments on how they should be marketing their business at this point in time. It's a very difficult topic to broach when everyone's dying for sales to keep their businesses afloat. But it's not necessarily the answer that they should cut back to nothing. It's just they need to shift their focus. There's been a lot of changes across a lot of industries that are obviously impacting the way that they operate their businesses, which, you know, in the general scheme of things is actually a good thing. There's a lot of innovation that comes out of crises, particularly if you look back through history, there's been a lot of good innovation come out of a lot of bad times. So, you know, looking at the positive side of all of this, we will get through it. And at some stage in the future, there will be a lot of positive outcomes for it across a lot of industries. So what a week it was. So obviously with everyone in lockdown, the other thing that we're seeing a lot of is people complaining about having to stay at home. Oh my God, what a task it must be to sit at home and do nothing. If you're based at home and you're stuck at home, it's probably time to learn something new. So what I would look at is, if you're bored, maybe have a look at, and that's what I reckon, and learn how to cook pasta sauce or risotto from scratch. If you're really struggling with it, you don't have to sit in 4 hours worth of traffic every day to get to and from work. You don't have to battle with the elements of rain, catching the train to and from the train station. You just get to stay home. 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, 4 weeks, whatever it ends up being, stuck at home, paid to be there, isn't the worst thing that's ever happened in your life. And you can guarantee that by the time that this finishes, everyone will go back to complaining about the fact that they have to go to work. So you can't have it both ways. So you've got the universe in your hands in this. So spend some time on it, learn something new, jump on a YouTube course, do something different, re-identify with a passion of yours, learn something new, do something with your time. And remember that you're getting this opportunity once in a lifetime. It's not great if people are passing away, certainly looking outside of that. As a healthy, happy human being, you've got an opportunity to move your life forward and plan for beyond what's going on now. So before we move into the next little bit of the segment, I'm going to rip into this box of 94.95 Upper Deck and see what is in here. So if you haven't watched the show before, I rediscovered a passion of mine that I had as a kid, which was basketball card collecting, and managed to find that there's still basketball boxes from my childhood that are still available to buy new. When you were originally doing basketball card collecting, when you were my age as a kid, you couldn't afford to buy a new box of basketball cards. So, well, I certainly couldn't. So I was always standing there at the shop looking at things like this and thinking, oh my, I wish I could afford to buy a whole box like that. So what happened, we started this idea of this box turned up in the office, and this was pre-corona, so when everyone was here, obviously at the moment I'm here by myself. So we started this idea of, well, let's record the unboxing, because, you know, who knows what you're going to find, and we'll be able to capture that raw moment when we open a card, hopefully that's worth some value. And we can capture it on film. So we started doing that, and we recorded the show, and we had a good time doing it. So we decided that we're going to keep doing it, and maybe introduce it more as a business show as well, talk around some of the current concepts, and get you into the weekend, I guess, washing away the week that was, and documenting some of the stuff that's gone on in that week. So here we are, and this is what we're doing. So in the past, we've opened some 92, 93, or actually some 91, 92 Upper Deck. We've opened some 89, 90 hoops, and now into week 3, we're going to hit up this Upper Deck. I ordered a lot of this stuff before the coronavirus happened, and so it's just gradually arriving now as we get into this, and it's taken a little while longer, obviously, because of the fact that the coronavirus is there. Now, I've got one basketball card that was always my favourite that I had as a kid and kept, and then I reordered it when I found it online, and what I thought was a slightly oversized card. It turned up today in a huge box, and I wasn't sure why, and it's because it's actually this big. So this is the biggest basketball card I've ever seen. Certainly not what I expected to be getting in the post. And we've done this before, my wife and I, where we bought stuff off eBay and thought, oh yeah, that'll do, that'll be the right size. And then when it's turned up, it's either been way smaller than we expected or way bigger than we expected. So this is another one. This is an A4 size sheet of paper, almost size basketball card, completely original. It's got the Upper Deck hologram on it there, which you can see just shimmering in the camera. 7,204 of 10,000 limited edition. Look, given that it's from 91, 92, who knows how many of them are still surviving and whether or not there's still 10,000 of them left. This will probably be one that we would send across to the States once all this is over. And I think we'll end up getting this authenticated and graded. It's already authenticated by Upper Deck on the back there. I don't know if you can see that in the light. Already authenticated on the back there by Upper Deck, but as I said to you in a couple of weeks ago, you can get these cards graded, and it depends on the collector, it can increase their value, and they look at things like how the card's positioned central to the card itself, the condition of the corners. This one's obviously been really well looked after because the corners on it are really square, and it's quite central. So I've been spending a lot of time looking at cards that are graded against the grading that they receive, so to try and understand what they look for. So when I'm shopping, I can actually look at the cards that are ungraded, and one way you can try and invest and make a little bit of money out of buying the cards is to buy ungraded cards, get them graded, have the value increase after that grading, and then resell them. So I'm not looking to do that with the Jordans. The Jordans are ones that I want to keep collecting to add to my collection from a kid. This is my favourite basketball card. I can't explain to you why. I just love the way that it looks. I think it's the wood decking on the peripheral, on the edges of the card. And then, you know, just I guess the urgency and outstressed race just sort of works with me. So, yeah, this will be one for the pool room. Yeah, we'll probably send this across and get it graded, and it comes back in a nice case with the grading on top of it. So, yeah, as I said, certainly a bigger one than I expected to receive, but I'm glad to have it and add it into the collection. So let's get into it. So 94, 95 Series 1 Upper Deck. So again, as usual, when you go into the shop, they'd all be in a case, sat there in the box, and it would look something like this. As usual, each week we smell. Don't know why we started doing this, but we did. And that smells. So in the last couple of weeks, one of the boxes apparently smelled like Steve's mum's cooking, which wasn't very complimentary, but, you know, it is what it is. Last week, the box smelled just dusty and old because it's from, you know, 89. This smells exactly like what I remember basketball cards smelling like in terms of a packet. you can, minty, well, not minty fresh, but I don't know how to describe the smell actually. But for those of you who've collected basketball cards, you'll remember this box has 36 packs. Unfortunately, it is a retail box, so there's two different kinds of boxes that they released. They released a retail box and a collector's box. A retail box and a booster box. The booster packs generally have more value in them in terms of rare cards, etc. But this one, being a retail pack, generally has more common cards in it. Ideally, we're really just looking for Jordans. That's what I'm looking for. But if we get something else special across the way, well, let's do it. So we'll get into it. We'll start opening the packs. Anything that we think is of value, we'll end up getting. We haven't caught up yet, but we'll end up getting closer up pictures of and posting them on the page. Oh wow, they're all stuck. Not stuck together. That sounds wrong. They've been in the pack a long time. So let's have a look at what we've got here. So a couple of a Reggie Miller basketball highlights card. Bit of Tim Hardaway, for those of you who might remember Tim Hardaway. So if you used to collect basketball cards, drop a comment. What was your favourite? Who was your favourite player? What did you like to collect? What brand of card did you like to collect? I'm a little bit, it's not elitist. I just prefer Upper Deck cards. I don't know why I always have. I always thought Fleer looked a little cheap. Hoops certainly looked cheaper. So yeah, didn't really collect a lot else other than if it was a Jordan card and I like the look of it, then I certainly would. But just sort of always stuck to Upper Deck. Don't know why. So drop a comment, let us know what you collected. The guys introduced me as well a couple of weeks ago to the world of Pokemon cards, which just blows me away. I used to collect or play Magic cards when I was a kid as well. And the value in those is ridiculous until I went on and heard about Pokemon cards, which is equally as stupid. You're talking $10,000 or $15,000 cards that people are finding in their collection, and I just can't understand how people do that. Yeah, that's it. Pokemon cards. Did you collect them, James? So, Pokemon was a little bit before or after my time. So we've got a Charles Barkley double up there. Poor old Charles. I think he's broke now and can't swing a golf club to save himself, but that doesn't make him unique because a lot of us can't. So Pokemon cards and the value of them is just extraordinary. Particularly if you've got some of the early stuff. It's like the Magic cards, any of the early stuff, or even basketball cards with the right player. The earlier ones tend to be the more collectible ones. Particularly, there's some cards in Magic that have been outlawed because of the fact that they're too good for the game and how the rules have evolved over time. So they are worth an extraordinarily large sum of money relative to what the value of the purchase cost of the card would have been originally. So I also came across yesterday a live card opening auction. And I did mention this on the show a couple of weeks ago, something that I'd never seen before. Wow, we're getting a lot of doubles in this. Something that I'd never seen before, and they showed through how they do it. So basically what they'll do is they'll buy it like we have a box of packs, and they'll have an auction or a price to enter the auction. So say it costs $15 or $20 to enter the auction, probably depending upon the potential value of the cards in the box. And then the guy running the auction actually rolls, so say there's five packs, he gets a pair of dice, rolls the dice, and then gets a randomizer on the internet to allow him to change the order of the pack and who the pack belongs to. So you've got 5 packs, you may have 3 or 4 different people buy a place in the auction, rolls the dice, randomizes the 4 names, and the order that it comes up in. So if he rolls a 7 across the 2 dice, he randomizes it 7 times, and then that's the order that they unopen the cards in. So if you get a pack, you get the first 2 packs, they open the packs, the contents of those packs are yours. It's an interesting system. It's like gambling, really, because if you've got no control over what's in the packs. Little Larry Johnson there in the Team USA series. You've got no control over what's in the pack, obviously, so it's literally a form of gambling. I can see you wanting to get involved in it and stay involved in it if out of it you get some good cards. The cards themselves now are way different to the way they were back then. There's cards with inserts of people's gloves and shorts and all sorts of stuff in it that was never the case when we were kids. Opening the cards, you just got the cards and maybe a hologram or something like that. I know they had the Holo Jam set, I think in the 93, 94 basketball upper deck, which came with a set of 3D glasses you could have a look at. So, all right. So really, at the moment, this is the first set where it's been a little disappointing. We haven't found anything much of value at all. Oh yeah, and as I say that, so we've got a Shaquille O'Neal. What do we got here? All-Star class Magic card when he's playing for the Orlando Magic. So have a look at him on the back there. He's got his scuba diving gear on and a big gold earring. So that one's probably going to be worth a little bit. Look, the market for Shaquille O'Neal, from what I have researched, certainly isn't as strong as it is for your Jordans and Kobe's and things like that. But still a fantastic player during his time, and a card that we'll have a look into to see how much it could go for. I haven't seen it before, so we'll get back to you on that one. We'll keep that one aside to do a little bit of research on and go from there. So, hey, Joe, can you just fix up the focus when we zoom in on the cards, mate? We'll just go that secure again. Yeah, hopefully that helps. We'll put a close-up of the card on the page once we're done. Thanks for letting us know it was out of focus, Jim. So Hakeem Olajuwon played for the Rockets. So hopefully next week, when some more stuff arrives, we'll have another camera set up so you guys will have a close-up on what I'm doing in the actual unboxing as well, which will help a little bit. So we've got a couple more good cards in this one, so I'll just finish going through this. Bear with me. So I've got a few rookie cards for people that I haven't heard of, so that may not have made it, which obviously happens a lot. Kembe Mutombo. All right, so in this pack, we did get another Shaquille O'Neal All-NBA team card. That hasn't gone into focus as well. There we go. So again, we'll have a look at that one and see what comes of that. And we did get an all-rookie team Isaiah Ryder card as well. So we'll have a look into those and see what we can get. Sorry about the autofocus there, guys. I'm not quite sure what is going on with that. We did test it before and it was working, so I don't know if now we've gone live, it's decided that it doesn't want to play. All right. Little Muggsy Bogues. People probably remember Muggsy from his part in the Space Jam movie when he lost his talent. Everyone remember that Space Jam movie? All right, here's another one. So we've got a Scottie Pippen in here. So we'll just go on a close-up of that one as well, Joey. No, the camera's just not enjoying it today. Oh, there we go. Winner. So there's a Scottie Pippen. Just hold it there, Joey. I'll just put up these Shaquille O'Neal ones again. So there's the man with his anyone for scuba on the back. Big gold earring happening there as well. Just rocking the singlet. And then we got this other all-star team, Shaquille O'Neal as well. Thanks, Joey. So we'll see what else is going on. Siri's picked me up in the background there. She can bugger off. So another couple of rookie cards that we'll check into, but no one of particular note that I'm aware of. So, I'm getting through these decks that quickly today because I'm talking a lot. So just in terms of while we're going through these, the questions in relation to business and marketing at the moment, as said, we did see a lot of comments back on some of the pages that I follow with small businesses. I guess looking a little bit for guidance on what they should be doing at the moment. And obviously it's a really volatile environment where you've got a lot of people whose businesses have unfortunately had to close, whether they've been forced to close or they've needed to close temporarily because of what's going on. And I was talking to a guy in the restaurant industry who has unfortunately had to close, but has gone to doing delivery, as a lot of them have, just takeaway or delivery. And my advice to him was that he should do a lot more content production around what got him into the industry, what he's passionate about, where they get their produce from, and then even cross-sharing that content with the companies where they got the produce from. A lot of them would be interested in sharing that content. And just generally producing content that is useful to people while they're stuck at home. So it may even be something like teaching people how to cook or showing people how they make the items or particular items on their menu. And by doing that, particularly at the moment when a lot of the content that's getting onto the pages is all about the coronavirus, it'll break it up. And because it breaks it up, people will find it interesting. And they'll particularly find it interesting if it's useful and it's something that they can do themselves. So at the moment, it certainly isn't about cutting back on marketing your business as much as it is about not being tone deaf to the kind of content that you need to be producing. We're always on at our clients about producing content rather than just continually producing sales pieces, because sales pieces are boring. No one wants to see it all the time. So now, more than ever, is the time for people to be educating, or more so entertaining. That's a pretty cool one. Entertaining their audience so that they can build brand. So that when they do come back, because we'll all come back from this, unfortunately not everyone's going to make it through, but you know, most businesses will come back from this, particularly with the support that's available from the government. The difficult thing is actually understanding how long it's going to last for. But on the positive side of it, people will come out of it, and there's an opportunity right now for businesses to build their brand. And they need to do it tastefully and thoughtfully, but they can certainly do it. So my advice is produce more content. Make sure that the content brings value so people actually want to look at it, and that it's a break from the coronavirus type stuff, and you'll get good engagement on it. It's also, if you can do it responsibly, a really good time to actually run ads to support your content. And I don't mean ads as in buy, because, or we've got a sale. You've hopefully seen my piece on that. But it's about supporting the content that you're producing to get it seen by more people. So obviously organic reach isn't as good as it once was. It is still there for good content, but overall it's just a good time for people to, $5 or $10 behind a post if they can afford to do it. Particularly a post that rates well organically is probably going to equally then do well if you put some dollars behind it. So if you can do that and put some money behind it, $5 or $10 now, because Facebook is a marketplace, will actually act more probably like $50 would 3 weeks ago. Because it's a marketplace, it's driven by demand, and there's no demand at the moment for it. So you can spend a little bit less, get more exposure, tell your story, and grow your brand while we're in this downturn, and hopefully come out on the other side of it a little bit better off. If you've got any feedback or comments on that, drop them in the comments, and I'm more than happy to address them. So while I was gas bagging and opening, we got a few other little bits and pieces, nothing too dramatic other than potentially, I don't think, even though it's a good player, and we'll just do a close-up here, Joey, of this one here, Rick Schmitz. It's gone all gold. So the rest of the cards in the pack are a silver colour. And once we get this working, see if I can bring it into focus there by doing that in manual. So it's gold, a gold card. So, it'll be considered a rare card, but it's not a quality player, I don't think. So there's not going to be a lot in that, but we'll equally check that one out. And probably equally a Dominic Wilkins rookie card. So we'll keep going. We've also started producing a couple more content shows that we're going to be releasing over the next couple of weeks. One of them is called If I Were. And basically there, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to go into some specific strategies that I would employ deploy even if I were representing a company in a particular industry. So just like we're talking about there, where if I ran a restaurant or I was a chef, and I was out of work, what would I do to build brand while the company isn't trading? So if you're in a particular industry and you're watching this, drop us a note. I'm more than happy to look at your industry and give you some advice on how to market during these times. If it's not something that we don't know what we're talking about, of course. All right, we need to get through some of these now, so I'll get stuck back into it. So, Kevin Johnson. We're obviously, at the end of the day, we are really looking for Jordans. That is the goal. All right, not a lot there. Another couple of... I don't actually remember these cards particularly from school either, so then maybe they weren't as popular. Maybe the 94, 95 in a Fleer or another brand were more popular than these ones. So we've got another 94, 95 box coming in a limited edition, and that one is a booster box, so I'm expecting there's going to be a little bit more quality in that. But of course, you live and you learn. I didn't know about the booster boxes or the difference in the boxes until after I had already bought them. So we've got a David Robinson NBA, all NBA card. Just there. We'll get this focus fixed up for next week so that we're not waiting as much. It'll help when we've got the second camera, because then I can just put them down until there's a more interesting card, which is where we'll get to. So don't fear, we will keep working on the quality of the show and improving it. So, and we're also planning, while we can, of trying to get some people onto the show using a meeting app or something like that. So we're just working on getting that up and running. So one other thing while we're talking about this is the interesting switch to esports that is happening rapidly at the moment. So I muck around in the iRacing esports space, and it has blown up over the last 2 or 3 weeks with new entrants. The V8 supercars are running a virtual series, so are the Formula One. There's a couple more local or Australian level race categories running their own iRacing series in the short term. And I mean, obviously, it's not a new thing that the space has been growing, but it's certainly rapidly expanding now that people are bored and looking for entertainment, and particularly sports entertainment where there's nothing available for them other than watching Better Homes and Gardens. I'm not even sure if that's on anymore. So it's really blowing up. So as a marketing exercise, it's got all the feels of, obviously influencer marketing and things like that. It's a little bit narrower than influencer marketing, but it'll still have its spot. So, an interesting space to be watching over the next few months as to see where it gets to. Lots of rookie cards, but not really for anyone that made it big, which is disappointing. So yes, as I said, we'll end up with this second stream, which will show you a little bit more of the cards as well. So for those of you who have just joined, we are unboxing a 94.95 Upper Deck retail box. We haven't found any Jordans at the moment, which is absolutely our campaign. We've had a few bits and pieces, but nothing all that exciting, which happens. You'd hope not out of an entire box, though, and we've still got a fair few packs to go. So let's hope we can find something interesting. Another Shaquille O'Neal. So as I say that, that's the second card I think that we've had of that kind. We'll just get a close up of that, Joey. Yep, that's the second one of those. Old Captain Scuba Diver. So we've had that one again. So look, let's assume that that is a reasonably common card. What else have we seen this week? A few issues with the Premier League and the potential outcome there. As a Liverpool supporter, I am keenly invested in the outcome of those conversations. They reckon that it'll cost the Premier League. Actually, I didn't see what they reckon it would cost it, but they think that it will, like everybody, it will dramatically impact the future of that sport. So, not the sport, soccer will always survive as the world game. But, it's going to impact the financial viability of the Premier League anyhow. So, there's enough wealth in that system to ensure it survives, I think. So what's on for the weekend? I am luckily not working this weekend. So once I'm done here, I am going to head home and see the kids and the wife. It has been a terribly, terribly long week. As a business owner, the frustrations of the slow release of information about the support package has been the most difficult part, but equally the part that I understand the most because they have to legislate for the changes that they're making, so they take time to work out. So it's been 2 weeks of holding our breath while we wait to see what support the government gives us. Unfortunately, they are helping, which is good, but the amount of help also concerns me because it probably means that it's going to go on a little bit longer than we all think, particularly when you look at what has happened overseas. Obviously, the difference there is that what happened overseas started a lot earlier than it is here, so we sort of are a little bit sheltered from it in a way, but it's still concerning. Got a lot of content made this week though. So Joey and Steve have been flat out doing stuff and recording stuff, and it's been a very productive week. Can't believe how stuck together these cards are. It's what you get for being stored in a box for 20 years. Replicates how I feel after I sit on a long haul flight for a while. So yeah, not a great deal on these. It's probably why I didn't collect them when I was a kid. It does say that it's got a Michael Jordan Heroes 10 card set in it, but we aren't seeing any of that love at the moment. Bit of Chris Webber, there's a mid-level star, Harold Miller, Eddie Jones, Mike Brown, Sean Bradley, second team, and an All-Star NBA card. These All-Star NBA cards, there's one in every pack, so they're not rare at all. And it probably says that somewhere on the box. 12 cards per pack, 36, blah, 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 blah. Nothing exciting. We did get a little win, however, today in the post. We bought some 93, 94 Upper Deck, and it was a 2-box purchase that we made. And fortunately, the vendor sent us 4 boxes, so that was nice of them. And they're in the States, so I will not be sending those back. All-Star rookie teams, All-Star class, David Robinson. There's lots of gold on these cards. Not really digging it. So the usual format of this show is there's normally 3 or 4 people in here. And our office is not the biggest office in the world because we are a relatively young business. So it is rowdy and crowded. So I think what we're going to do beyond this is probably get the guys involved virtually or get some guests on the show. Business guests, I think. There might be others, just to see how they're faring and see what they're doing and have that general conversation with them. We're doing better than last week, though. Last week, we had a couple of technical issues, more than just the focus on the camera. But those things will happen when it's the first time you're doing stuff. We've set it up anyway. Might as well document it. We'll look back on it when we're at episode 100 and have a laugh. We've got all these other fancy overlays and fun things happening over the top of them. So speaking of which, I've joined an iRacing league for the Australian Sports Sedan Series that one of the guys there is kindly putting on. So there'll be a little bit of that footage. We're going to try and live stream that on behalf of them, which starts next Tuesday night at Phillip Island. So if you are looking for some motorsport, it's not a bad watch. It's nice, close racing. I understand that it's not real motorsport before anyone tells me that it's not real motorsport. I'm fully aware of that because I do have a race car of sorts. So, but it's really good, nice, close racing, and it is fun. So while we can't do real racing, hopefully it scratches the itch, as one of the guys put up on the page, and we can enjoy it and gives the sponsors a little bit of exposure as well. Some of these live audiences that they've been getting to these events are huge as well in terms of exposure for sponsors. So I think that, as I said before, will be an area where there will be wise investment from some brands in getting cheap exposure. Finally, getting cheap exposure to the audience. So here we go. We finally got one. It's only taken 36 packs. No, it hasn't taken 36 packs. So just Joey on that one there, mate. So it's a Michael Jordan signature card. It's not a real signature. It's embossed signature. With 91 to 93, 3 NBA championships. So back to back to back. So we'll look up that one. That's one I haven't seen, and it's certainly one that I don't have. So we'll look that one up. Again, I wish we had but we'll get there, had this set up, because then I can put it on the platform and show you guys what it is. But we'll take some photos of it and we'll put it up on the page so you can have a look at it. We'll let you know what we find. In terms of finding out what they're worth, there's a lot of ways you can do it. The way that we do it is either go through the online guides, or the real way, because the guide isn't really going to show you much. It only shows you what they think it's worth. It doesn't show you what people are actually willing to pay for it. So we go through eBay and have a look, see what things have recently sold for over the history. If you can't find it, then you ask around. The community's pretty good like that. It's another thing as well at the moment. If you are struggling a little bit with the isolation, there's tons of communities online that you can join for whatever your interest might be and have a chat with some people. You don't have to stay at home to talk to no one. Come on here, talk to us. I'll talk to just about anyone. Just about. All right, so we've got 8 packets to go. We've got one Jordan. We've got a ton of B-grade stuff. I hate it when you open a pack and one of the cards is damaged. That's not good. So one Jordan and a ton of B-grade stuff, but that's okay. I can handle it. Can you handle it? Yeah, I can. What else we got? Not a lot. So, yeah, that's where we're at. So we're going to do that, get some guests on the show, have a chat with them, get them to, well, they can't open packets of cards because they can't be here. Originally, that was the idea, they were going to be here, but obviously we can't do that at the moment because of social distancing, which is extremely important. But we'll get some people on so that we can chat with them. Maybe they collected cards when they were a kid. It's a huge hobby, so I imagine a lot of them would have. But a couple of people already tell us on the feed that they did. Scottie Pippen. We've got lots of Scottie Pippen. That's okay. We'll roll through these last few packs. Chris Mullins, man with a military haircut. Social distancing, that's right. 22 and 0. Wash your hands for 20 seconds. 2 meters from anyone else and 0 excuses. It's an easy one to remember. Tell you what, my hands are baby smooth since washing my hands so often because of the environment that we're in. Enjoying the old Dettol soap. Becomes a habit though. Washing my hands all the bloody time. Bit of Patrick Ewing. The Michael Jordan documentary coming out. I think it was supposed to come out on the 14th. So that might affect values a little bit as more people remember, but we'll see. Basketball cards, like everything, are just bloody a nostalgia. That's why they're coming about again. So parents' kids are getting into them. So the parents that used to be kids when they were into them, they're getting back into them. They got disposable income or had disposable income. So I just really enjoyed collecting them, trading them, getting more out of it, making deals, getting it done. So that's a little bit of an interesting one. It's a Scottie Pippen, if we can click there, Joey. So Scottie Pippen Predictor in green. I haven't seen one of those before. I don't look a lot at the Pippen cards, but we'll keep that one out and have a look at it. John Stockton, another battler. Probably would have played for St Kilda if he was a footy player. Ooh, wow. The other thing we're missing is footy. Friday night footy. Pizza, fire, a few bevies. It'll all come back. Never fear, it will all come back. We've been through it before. So, again, a whole heap of nothing. Pokemon card episode. We can do that. Just need to get some Pokemon cards. Not to mention get an idea about Pokemon cards and understand how Pokemon works. Maybe we can get someone on who understands all of that, because it certainly is not me. Sort of stick in my lane. We've got a fair few more unboxings to do. Hopefully they're going to be a little bit better than this. To be honest, this has been the poorest unboxing we've done. We got a heap of stuff last week. We got 3 or 4 different Jordans that we haven't seen before. And today, just the one. Just the one. We've only got 1 pack left. So it's not looking good. Not looking good at all. Well, we got 1, so we've got to be positive about it. We got 1. Play and trade with Predictor insert cards. That's the one that we just got with Scottie Pippen. I wonder what we're supposed to play. Virtual game of card basketball. All right, come on, let's hope. What have we got in here? Nothing, 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 nothing. A little bit more of nothing. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Very, very tragic unboxing. But that's okay. That's all part of the game. So we'll have a look at all these other cards that we did get out of the box and see where the value in them lies, if there is any value in any of them. We'll put some photos up on the internet of the cards that we got so you can have a better look at them. And we will keep going. So we've got a fair few more boxes to unbox. Next week, we're going to be looking at some 93, 94 Upper Deck, which is the set that I was collecting when I was a kid, and I've been waiting for them to arrive. There is also one other special box coming in, and hopefully that arrives in time. Maybe we might do that box instead, but we'll just see where we're at. Another long week ahead of us, so we will see what we can do. So thanks very much for joining us on the show today. I've enjoyed your company. And remember, it's Friday. You've had a hard week. Don't cook. Buy something from your local takeaway shop. They will appreciate it much more than you will. Thanks very much for watching. This has been episode 3 of Free Time Friday, live at 5. Sometimes we'll see you next week.